So, are you one of those people who's proud of being productive? You've got that endless to-do list and you just crush it every single day. That's awesome. But what if I told you that this constant hunt for productivity is actually the biggest trap holding you back from real success? Yeah, I know. Let's dive into this counterintuitive idea. And this leads us to something known as the efficiency paradox. You know that feeling, right? It's that frustrating state of being constantly in motion. You're checking off boxes, you're answering emails, but at the end of the week, you look back and realize you haven't made any real forward progress on the things that truly matter. You're doing more, but you're achieving less. So I want you to ask yourself this right now, just pause for a second. Are you just busy, or are you actually building something meaningful? You see, the distinction between those two states is, well, it's everything. And that's what we're going to unpack in this explainer. See, the core of the problem is that we've all been taught to confuse movement with progress. And because of that, we've fallen into a trap, the trap of what you could call toxic productivity. Now, take a look at the contrast here. It's really interesting. On one side, you've got toxic productivity. That's all about quantity. How many tasks can I get done? It's about reacting to whatever feels urgent and just filling your day with busy work. But on the other side, you have purposeful work. This is about focusing on the value you create, making the few essential decisions that actually move the needle, and maximizing your impact. One is about being a list checker. The other is about being a game changer.
So how do we escape this trap? Well, this isn't some new problem, and we can actually find some really powerful solutions in ancient wisdom, all focused on priority. Take this principle from the Gospel of Matthew, for example. If you look at it just as a management strategy, it's profound. It tells us to establish our number one objective first. So in your business, what is your kingdom? What's your core purpose? Toxic productivity makes you chase all these little urgent wins, while the big decisions, the ones that define your legacy, are just left waiting.
Let's see how this principle of priority builds into a really powerful insight. What it really requires is a fundamental shift in your identity, from being a producer to becoming a proposer. So here's the crucial point. Effective management and real freedom, they don't come from adding more to your plate. They don't come from finding some new productivity hack. They come from subtraction. They come from having the clarity and, honestly, the courage to know what not to do. And this slide really illustrates that shift perfectly. A producer, they define their worth by volume, how many things they get done. But a propositor, a true leader, they define their worth by proposing and executing only on what is essential. They focus all their energy where it creates the most value. It's a massive shift from quantity to strategic impact. You know, there's a masterclass in focused management right in the Gospel of Luke. When the disciples were sent out, they were given these super strict constraints. No extra money, no extra bag, not even extra shoes. Now, why? Because those constraints forced them to be agile. It forced them to trust the process and to focus only on their core mission, to heal and to announce the message. Everything else was stripped away. The productivity that holds you back is all that extra baggage, the meetings, the projects, the tasks that don't align with your core mission. Okay, so this brings us to the practical solution. How do you apply this kind of thinking to your own to-do list tomorrow morning? Well, you can use a simple 3-question filter I like to call the Lucas test. So before you start any task, just run it through this test. First, what am I really healing? Is this task solving a core problem for your client or your team, or are you just managing the symptoms? Second, what am I announcing? Does this work communicate the core purpose, the values, and the excellence of your business? If not, it's probably a candidate for elimination. And third, am I trusting in provision? Are you doing this because it's truly essential, or are you doing it out of fear? Fear of missing out, or maybe fear of not looking busy enough. And this brings us to a really powerful economic and spiritual principle. The worker who is worthy of his wages isn't the busiest one. It's the one who delivers the highest value. And that's the whole point of the Lucas test, to shift your focus from just effort to actual value. Let this really sink in. Your calendar doesn't define your worth. Your completed task list does not define your worth. The value you deliver to your clients, to your team, and to your mission is the only metric that truly matters. Busyness is a vanity metric. Impact is the real measure of success. So this is your turning point. You have a choice. You can keep running on the hamster wheel of toxic productivity, or you can step off and start building a career and a business that's defined by high impact and real meaning.
So I want to leave you with a challenge. If you're ready to trade that frantic routine for impactful management, I want you to identify just one thing. What is the one non-essential task or meeting or project you're going to eliminate from your list this week to make space for your true purpose? And don't just think it, commit to it. Drop your answer in the comments below. Let's create a whole community of leaders who are committed to purposeful work, and let's hold each other accountable.
And that's it for this one. Remember, the goal isn't just to be productive, it's to be purposeful in what you were called to build. If this gave you a new perspective, do me a favor, give it a like, and subscribe for more explainers designed to help you succeed. We'll see you next time.
Oferecimento Máximo Brasil Manutenção. Excelência em manutenção. Segurança e qualidade do início ao fim. Obras, reformas e segurança do trabalho.